Record of Ragnarok now has an insane amount of techniques or abilities in the series, having completed 10 fights in the tournament thus far, and various additional content added in official side manga to the universe, featuring many truly overpowered moves and many more that will come in the future. Therefore, at 10th place currently is Apollo's Artemis Moonlight Glow. This is when he summons this statue that results in the release of his divine weapon, his iconic bow and arrow, featuring the ability to spam arrows made out of light, referred to as his ultimate technique, destroying the likes of Leonidas, almost killing some of the spectators, with Zeus also claiming that he's the only one in the divine realm who can stop that arrow, alongside Hermes stating that was the fastest hit in the divine realm. On top of that, he can use Artemis as the bow, in which Apollo himself becomes the arrow, something that was strong enough to pierce through the strongest shield of humanity, Leonidas's truth shield, defeating the human and the Valkyrie with a single attack. Truly overpowered. Now 9th place is the Tesla warp used by Nikola Tesla, which is literal teleportation in his fight. This is an ability that's very complex and requires other aspects to be in place to be used, limiting it in many ways. However, he can also use it by teleporting a single arm like he did in the final clash against Beelzebub. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, and this is mostly due to his opponent, the representation of Satan in the current story, being beyond broken, with many believing that Tesla's teleportation and overall him as a fighter could have destroyed many characters in the entire series, with the first use of his warp pretty much being uncounterable based on all the techniques we've seen so far in Record of Ragnarok. 8th place is Huang's martial art, going by the name Chi Yu, described as the ultimate martial art in the series, and has a variety of forms that features overpowered techniques in their own right. For example, we have the armor form that results in the heavenly hand of defense moves, him redirecting attacks back at his opponent on top of using the attacker's own power, the spear form, which is a powerful strike, the crossbow form, which is literally Huang blowing air on his opponent to disrupt their power, something that was very effective against the likes of Hades, the halberd form, a powerful kick, the sword form, even more powerful, and the ability to combine all these techniques and forms together for insane combos, which allowed him to defeat Hades in round 7 of Record of Ragnarok. Now 7th is Sasaki Kojiro's scanning ability, what he used to be able to read and surpass Poseidon during round 3 of Record of Ragnarok, one of the strongest and fastest gods in the entire series. But the main reason he's ranked here is due to the climax of the fight, where Sasaki potentially scanned all of creation at once. There's various translations of this panel that are all somewhat different, even the anime version on top of that, but one thing in common is the overpowered nature and Sasaki outright surpassing the likes of Poseidon with the use of this ability. Now 6th place is Buddha's pure enlightenment 8th consciousness, resulting in his future sight technique. This allows him to see the soul of every living creature in the form of this light, and in the world of Record of Ragnarok, the soul moves before the body. As such, Buddha technically should always see and know what his opponent is going to do. Some people argue about the extent of this ability. For what we know, he can see a moment ahead, which could mean quite a while or just a few seconds. Regardless, seeing into the future is quite the overpowered ability, and every time it's being used in the series, its overpowered nature is highlighted, whether it be against Zero or Hajun when it activated later in the fight, or even recently when he had a clash with Odin, being able to dodge the Supreme God's attack with no trouble at all. Now in 5th place, we have Cuhulainn and his divine weapon, Guy Bolik, demonstrated when he entered his berserker-like state and threw the spear against Ra in round 1 of Record of Ragnarok, the Apocalypse of the Gods, an official side manga that features a tournament set before the main series events, featuring only gods who are fighting to get a spot in this tournament, with it being confirmed that those participating in this are not by any means weaker than those in the main series. It's more so that they're outer gods that can't be controlled in any way. Regardless, when Cuhulainn used this attack against Ra, we learn right away that it's considered the sure hit, sure kill cursed spear, unleashing this wild attack that cannot be dodged, cannot be avoided, cannot be countered, and allowed Cuhulainn to win against Ra within 5 seconds. All of this is confirmed once again after the fight, where we had the likes of Hermes, Zeus and Ares discussing the attack, highlighting that it is beyond broken and truly overpowered. However, we're going to see it again in later rounds, so perhaps there will be a counter for it. And as a reminder, his opponent will either be Wukong or Prometheus, which is going to depend on who wins their fight, which is going on right now. So moving forward, the fourth strongest technique or ability is Zeus's Adamas transformation. Something at an initial glance wouldn't have many thinking it's that overpowered, being able to last up to 13 minutes when he's fresh, and claim to involve Zeus compressing his muscles to their very limit, with those watching being worried that he could potentially destroy heaven with it. But the true insanity is shown with this. Zeus in this state can spam all of his previous attacks. That includes the fist that surpassed time, which we might be talking about very soon. And some translations even claim that in this form, each of Zeus's strikes are unavoidable and a one-hit kill. With all this, it can be ranked here without a doubt, but third place is Beelzebub's Vibrations, where he uses his left hand for defense and right hand for offense. That is highlighted as durability negating with its explanations and of course showings in the story. Additionally, with this divine weapon, he amplifies these abilities, referring to these vibrations, so much so that his shield is capable of stopping Thor's hammer according to this, something that has a very strong argument of being the most powerful divine weapon in the series, connecting to various statements about Beelzebub having the strongest spear and shield on the god side. But there's even more. When Beelzebub combined the offense and defensive vibrations with his staff, a taboo technique is created. At least Hades banned it in Helheim due to how crazy it was, that being Chaos, which is a literal nuke on the arena. Something so powerful it would have defeated Tesla if he didn't offset it with maximum output and sacrificing a Tesla coil, pretty much the peak of this human's power, still inflicting major damage on him, and also having another aspect. Since the attack is a form of vibrations, touching it in any way results in major internal damage, meaning even if you manage to survive it, it's unlikely you could continue fighting for much longer, truly showing that Beelzebub is overpowered. And yes, it does damage him when used, but I don't think that takes away from being ranked third. Now second place, we have Zeus's fist that surpassed time. The ultimate attack of Kronos, Zeus's father, which he stole from after killing him, something that is likely not just him stopping time, but actually surpassing it, with the god exerting control over time when using it, an attack that is next to impossible to counter, and proves even more why number 1 is Adam's Eyes of the Lord, also known as Divine Reflection, working as Adam was a copy of God, which means that Adam can copy any god's technique that he sees. The extent of this isn't completely clear, and people throughout the Record of Ragnarok fandom are going to be arguing about this until the end of time at this point. We see him in the flashback copying the hand of the snake to defeat him, but more importantly for this video, against the fist that surpassed time, we got this explanation from the narrator. He simultaneously, or at least virtually simultaneously, by whatever means, copied his technique, dodged Zeus's punch, and landed his own version back. A showing that transcended everything we'll probably ever get shown in Ragnarok, Furthermore, when fighting Adamas Zeus, in this moment, Adam is copying, dodging, surpassing, and sending all these attacks back at the god, multiple fists that surpass time, and maybe even unavoidable attacks built into all of this. Yes, it doesn't make exact sense, the narrator struggles to explain it, and that's exactly why it's number 1. Now if you want to see me rank every technique in the series, watch this stream right here, and shout out to these mad lads.